You're listening to the Player Layer podcast. I'm your host, Ivan Alexiev, and today I'll be talking to Marc Paquien, one of my favorite designers. He's designed Treasure Island, which is a really cool game. I suggest, if you haven't checked it out, to go check it out. It was a really cool conversation, as usual. We talked a lot about his design process. We talked about the expansion that's coming out, prototyping, play testing, and all of that. Another thing I wanted to mention before we start the podcast is the Board Game Design Summit, which you can find a link to in the description. It will be hosted by Joe Slack, who's also been on this podcast, with guests such as Jamie Stegmeyer, Elizabeth Hargrave, and it should be really interesting. It's from the 14th of September up until the 20th, with 3 conversations a day. And one more thing, my very first guest, Mikhail Ivanov, his game Arcana Magica is coming to Kickstarter, I think on the 9th of September, and you should definitely go check that out. There will also be a link to that in the description. Thanks for listening, and enjoy the show. I'm here with Marc Paquien today, who is designer of Yamatai, along with Bruno Cathala, published by Days of Wonder, and also Treasure Island, which this year is going to have an expansion called Revenge Island. I'm very happy to be with you, Marc. How are you doing?
I'm fine, and I'm also happy to be with you and to have this talk about games and board games. That's nice time to come.
Yeah. Could you tell me about Treasure Island? How did it started out?
At the very beginning, it was a project, and I think I had never mentioned that before, but it was a project with a friend of mine at the very, very beginning, which is called Cédric Millet. He is also a designer from Meeple Circus by Matago also. Mm-hmm. And I don't remember if he came or if I came with the idea of a treasure hunt, but we've been talking about this idea, I would say, for something like 1 month, something like this, maybe more. And we were stuck at the very beginning. And during summer, I was swimming. We have a beautiful lake in Nancy, next to where I live. And I was swimming in the lake. And we were in this treasure hunt. There was something difficult, is that someone has to know where is the treasure. And I would say there is no interest if the goal of the game is to show where the treasure is to the others. That makes nonsense. Or the other possibility was that he would be kind of game master, but then there is no big interest for him either. And when I was swimming in the lake, the idea was, okay, in fact, he don't want that the treasure is found, but he have to give informations. And from this point, I think within 3 days, I got almost everything in the game. So I called my friend and I told him, okay, I think I got everything. I was quite uncomfortable because I almost finished the game. Of course, there was the development phase, which lasted a very long time after. But he told me, okay, that's fine. You just go with the game. And so the very beginning was with my friend Cédric, and then there was this idea, and yes, that's the way it started.
There's so many things which make this game fun. Like, first of all, it's the fact that you're drawing on the map using these cool tools. And the other part of it is that it's a really good deduction game where the game master, like I said, he knows where it is, but at the same time he's trying to not give all of the information away, or he's doing his best to hide that information so he can get it himself.
As soon as I got this idea that this player who knows where's the treasure has a different target from the other, that everybody wants to find the treasure, but he wants that the treasure is not found, then it was the concept. I knew that the concept would work very, very fine. But then the development of the game was really difficult, because if you play the game, you know that when you start, you have no information. Mm-hmm. So it's some people feel uncomfortable with this, don't know where to go. I have no idea about where it is. And at the opposite, when you're silver, you feel that you have to give very soon very much information, and it was very difficult to find the good balance between, especially at the game beginning, because at the game beginning it could be boring or uncomfortable for some players, and so the design of the clues was quite difficult. I'm sorry, because when I speak about this game, everything is interconnected, and it's hard to have a constructed explanation about the game. Something also that I wanted in this game is that to be consistent with this feeling of very wide possibilities, because the base concept is this open map where you can go anywhere you want. I mean, when you're a pirate, you can either move, dig, use your compass, check if a clue is true or not, and it's quite game. You can freely choose any action without any restrictions. I mean, you can spend the whole game digging around you if you want. That's not a good idea, but you can do that. And yes, it's I think it's something also which is special in this game is that you're very free in your actions, and the board is very free. So you have this freedom feeling that is also quite special.
Yeah, you're not constricted at all to actions on the board. At least you do have those like variable player powers, which are every player has some special kind of things that they can do better. How did you at the beginning when you started with the game? Did you know that you want to have those players have different choices they can make based on the character that they chose, or?
No, that came later, because I thought it was cool that when we choose at the beginning it was not Treasure Island, it was a treasure hunt, but quickly we chose Treasure Island. But yes, the first steps were to I had huge work regarding the clues. In fact, this I don't remember, there are around 20 clues in the game, I think, something like this. I think, or 18, something like this. But these 18 clues, it was massive work, because there are two kinds of clues, but the first kind and the second kind should be balanced. They could be very powerful or very weak, depending on the board setting at a given time. So it was very difficult to adjust them, so that just based on the effect of these clues, they were different from each other, resulting in different shapes on the board. Because if many clues result in the same shape on the board, then silver can give many times the same informations, and then the game is not progressing. So it's important that these shapes are different and balanced between each other. So that was very long to work with these clues, and then the special powers were really easy to design. The only thing is that I wanted to have real special powers. So I was when people play tested the game at the beginning, they said, "But this power is overpowered. You can't make this." Yes, you can, but you will see. Each special power is overpowered, and that, I think that's why it's cool to have this special power. I don't like, you can just choose an extra action, or you can, no, when you make a search, it's twice as big as others. When you move, it's twice as fast. You can check more. Yeah. So that's what I wanted, and I'm happy about. I think the power are cool because they are strong, and also if I can go on speaking with these powers, it's quite funny at this point to mention Vincent Dutré's art, because he, the screens from each players.
Mm-hmm.
Vincent started very soon to draw these screens. So I had the screens, and the game design was not finished. On his drawings, he did he did represent some of the power. For example, Charlotte, I don't remember her full name, but Charlotte, she has three districts hints. And Vincent drew two maps attached to her jacket, and that was the reason why she had this special. I found that so cool. And then on another screen, there was this monkey. But the monkey there was no reason for the monkey. But then I made the special power based on so there was kind of discussion, or not the discussion, because just back and forward between the Vincent drawings and the game design. Another fun fact is that I made my prototype with some drawings from Vincent Dutré, from other games, from other things he did before. And when Matagot told me we were thinking about Vincent, what do you think? I was so happy, because when Vincent draw pirates, it's just incredible. So I was so happy, and I'm absolutely delighted of the results of the every drawings from the game.
Yeah, the game looks just amazing right now, and so does the expansion now that's coming out. Could you tell me, before you started Treasure Island, you did Yamatai? How did you first start into game design? Was that your first try at making a game?
Yeah, it was, but it took me a while. At the beginning, this game is co-designed with Bruno, but at the beginning I worked alone on this project, and it took me a while. There is another game I like. We didn't speak about this one, but which I find it is absolutely incredible design. Is called Santiago. Mm-hmm. It's an old game. I don't know if you know this game, but there is water and there is a well, and you need to bring water to your fields. And there is this pipes. Yes, that's the word. You choose where pipes will be, and so based on this, you know which fields are water fed or not. And I love this game, but it's very dry. Even it's a water game, but it's dry, because there is no special effect, no. So that was my starting point. I loved this game, but I wanted to be less dry, and then I started to design another game with something flowing, or no, I don't know, and at the end, it was in Yamatai. There are the ships, you know, that are growing on the board. So that's the link, far link with Santiago.
And what about when did you first start designing games at all, or thinking about designing games, or even playing games?
Playing games is a long time ago. I don't remember, but when you're child, of course you play games. Then I remember I was 12, something like this, and I had one very good friend, and we were imagining stories where we had choices, a little bit like role play, but that was our own made kind of game. After this, I played with other friends. I don't know the English game. It's Bruno Feduti game, Tempête sur l'échiquier. It's chess tempête, something like this. It's you play chess, but each piece has a new way of working, and it's incredible. It's overpowered. 10 times more than Treasure Island special powers. So with these friends I played. Then I made engineering studies, so I had not so much time for playing games. And I was really happy when I started to have free time again. And when I had free time again, I started again to play. And one of the first person which I found and which with who I shared this passion for modern board games was Cédric Millet, my friend who designed us Nicole Circus. Mm-hmm. And I had this idea of designing games, but I never, you think, oh, it would be nice to design game, and you do nothing. And my friend Cédric make things. So when he said, me too, I would like to start designing game. And then he did it. But he did it. He worked a lot. I've seen him. He had at this time, or he still have them, but he had two young boys, a big job. So a lot of work for his job. And still he managed to, because he has the energy, the passion, and so on. So when I saw him spending times on games like this, I said, okay, I have no children and we have the same kind of job, but he managed to do it and I don't. It's just because I'm too, I don't know I don't remember I'm too lazy. I have to push myself. And that's how I started to build prototype and start designing.
By pushing yourself, like, how do you, before that, did you have just ideas for games, but you didn't push them to the point of prototypes, or did you just want to make games? Did you know that you want to?
No special idea. When I saw my friend starting like this, I said to myself, okay, if I want to make a game, what would I like to do? And I had this good feeling for this Santiago game at the time, but with this regret that it's too dry. And that was my starting point. And that at this moment, I started to build something. But in general, I think I am a little bit special when I start a game project, maybe now, because I don't want to spend much energy on a new game design if I don't know from the beginning that there is something new inside. When I've been working on Treasure Island, I had no ulterior motive because I knew that the concept was special and that it would work. I don't start so many, some game designers have many projects, and I have almost no, Usually I have one project at the same, maybe two, because I had the idea for Treasure Island was while Yamatai was still under development. But yes, and so I will make a little promotion. My third game, which is maybe you don't know about it because it's a small game, it's a card game, will hopefully release beginning of next year. And is also completely different from Yamatai, from Treasure Island. And I think it is also quite innovative. A speed game, or not a speed game, but
like a real-time game.
Yes. It's real-time, yes, a real-time, but just with cards, and it's more like it's a very, very light game, but in a way, I think it's innovative because there is no, when you play Jungle Speed, there is this moment where everybody make something at the same time and it's blur. I don't like this. It could lead to some situations where the rule is not clear. And in my game, which is called Snack It Bamboo, you never experience this. It's going very, very, very fast, and the faster you go, the more chance you have to win the game. But at the same time, you have to look for what's happening at your opponents, and you have to search for things. It's a draft game. It's a real-time draft game, and maybe I can give the core concept. So you can, for example, if we are 5 players, it's a draft game the same as Seven Wonders, for example. But if we have 5 players, we only make 4 decks. And so one player has no deck. This player will let his hand at the middle of the table, while the other players are looking for the best cards for the best card in their deck. And as soon as one of them chooses the card, he will play the card and give the deck to the guy who has the hand in the middle of the table. And the player who will just choose, he will leave his hand in the middle instead of the other player. That means that if the 3 other players take a lot of time to choose their cards, then the 2 same players could play, and then it's finished and you play nothing. So it's a real-time drafting game, really funny with pandas and eating bamboo sleeves. So I'm really happy by Lumberjack Studio, which is a French publisher, but yeah.
Have you ever thought about, because with all of your games you've gone through publishers, have you thought about self-publishing? Like, I feel like a game like Treasure Island seems like a really good game for, like Kickstarter or something like that.
Yeah. To be honest, I don't have so much time for game design. I work as an engineer. Is my main activity, and for Treasure Island, if I had a lot of time, it was, I think, on publishing side, it was a tough project because there are very specific components. The art was a huge work. I think it was big investment for Matago. So on one side, it was a difficult project. At the same time, I was really confident that this game would work, that it would. I knew that everybody was playing the game, said it's completely new. I like it. I have good feelings when I play it. So there was no big risk, because there is always a risk, but it was huge work. This part is maybe not the part which I prefer. And it's strange that I say that, because some game designer, they make their design and then give it to the publisher and then wait for the game to be released. And on my side, I've been working with Bruno, and Bruno is very involved in the development process. And I think I learned from him, and I think we have the same how can I say, passion, and we want to see that the game is released very close to what we were thinking at the beginning. So we are very close to development on the publisher side. But yes, to answer your question, basically, I don't want to make self-publishing, because I just don't want to put energy in this part or too much energy in this part of the process.
Yeah, and how did you meet Bruno Cathala, who you worked with on your first game?
I met Bruno, so I live in Annecy, which is a little town, and Bruno lives next to Annecy. And as I like board games, and when I arrived first in Annecy, I didn't know anybody in this town. So I've been in a group, a player group, and after a while, I told them that I was working on a prototype, and so I bring my prototype. They tried, and they said, "Oh, but it's not bad." So they told me that I should show it to Bruno. Of course, I knew Bruno before. I was a big fan of his designs, and so I was maybe a little bit shy of showing this to Bruno, but they told me, yes, you can show him. He comes every Friday. So one Friday I came, I introduced myself, or one of people from the group introduced myself to Bruno, and I show him the prototypes, and that was how I met him. Mm-hmm. He's really easy to contact. The only thing is always make a lot of jokes, but the first time you meet Bruno, is continuously making jokes. He's like a joke machine. The first time I met him, it was 10 jokes a minute, I think, something like that.
And was he immediately interested in working on the game with you?
It was really easy. Working with Bruno is really so. What he was very clear also, and I think he used to be an engineer. He's still an engineer, but he used to work as an engineer. So I think we are quite straightforward and we understand very well. And he told me from the beginning, your design is cool. I would be really happy to play again, and if you want my feedback, I can give you my feedback again and again if you're okay with this. But he told me, I'm not telling you that we will work on this game together or that we will be published together. I'm just okay if you want to show me. So I've been showing the game to Bruno during maybe 1 year and a half, 1 year, 1 year and a half. And at some point, so that there was difficulties in the design and so on. And at some point, I remember very well, it was in Cannes Festival. He came to me and he told me, Marc, I know how to unlock the problems that you have on the design. And from this point, he was involved, and it was starting to be clear that it would be a co-design. Mm. So it was quite later, and yeah. And then he started to work like a machine. Bruno is on-off in game design. He's when he starts, you cannot stop him. It's yeah.
Yeah, no, it's funny that your first game, you started alone and then ended up co-designing, and then for Treasure Island, you did the opposite. You started with another person.
Yes, you're right. Yes, you're right. I never realized this funny thing. Yes, you're right. Yeah.
How do you feel? How do you work better? How do you feel is easier for you? Is it when you have full control of the game, or when you're making it with someone else?
I would say spontaneously that I'm more comfortable alone, but to be honest, I think you could be stuck also. So when you work alone, I think it's very important to play with people and to listen to people, because sometimes maybe they have the answer, and it's important that you are able to sort the remarks or the ideas. But yes, it's hard question. It's really hard question, and yes, I've been trying both, and each has its pros and cons. At the moment, we are working on our first game together with my friend Cedric, which I already mentioned several times before, and we have an abstract game, which we started designing last summer, and we are really happy today with the design, but we don't manage to find a publisher because it's quite hard for abstract games. But we are so happy with the design, and the process was really cool, because we started to design this game drinking beer together, and in 1 week holidays last summer we had the base of the game. And then from time to time we play again and we improve the design, and it's a really easy development process. I would say it's really easy. It's much easier, but it's a much simpler project than Yamatai or than Treasure Island. But it's just the flow in this development process from Tetra. The game's name is Tetra. Is really easy. So that's in the end. I say that I'm more efficient alone, but maybe the best example is, or the more efficient example is Tetra, which is co-designed with Cedric.
So right now you have several projects. You said, although you said earlier that you were only working on one, but what about the expansion for Treasure Island? Is that something you worked on a lot, or was it easier to make an expansion?
Yeah, it was really easy. It was really easy because during development of Treasure Island, it lasts quite a long time, and I tried so many things, and I know the game by heart, and so it was quite easy to make this expansion. And also I've read everything that can be read about people feedback regarding Treasure Island. So I tried to fix some of the drawbacks or some of the weakness of the base game. So there were mainly two. Or the main one was that it was too hard for Silver to win. That's one of the points. In fact, on a mathematical point of view, I'm still sure that the original design was fine, because when I look statistics from the game played, on a 5-player game, Silver will win one game on 5, something like this, which is the way the game should be balanced on a mathematical point of view. And in a 3-player game, you will win one on 3. So I think it was hard to manage to be so accurate on the difficulty. But what I missed is that the important thing is not the mathematical balance of the game, is the fact that people should feel that the game is well balanced. And when Silver win only one time over 4 or 5, people think it's too hard, because they don't understand that it's not Silver against the pirates, it's Silver again, one pirate, and one pirate. So I understood that after. I was proud to manage to balance the game perfectly on a mathematical point of view. So in the expansion, the first thing that we will be implemented is a possibility for the players to choose the difficulty for Silver. So you will choose normal, difficult, easy, and you can adjust the difficulty. And also the second thing was that the map was not easily seeable or readable, so some people could not see the marks. So there are new marks in the expansion, and also the new map is from a new artist, which is which is famous for cartography, map design, and her name is, you can go check on Instagram. She posts incredible maps. It's Misty B, MISTY .BEEE. And Misty B, and yes, she makes incredible work, and she made a completely new map, which is a little more zoomed in, so you will see so many details about everything on the island, and with each house, each tree, everything is drawn by hand. It's incredible work that she made. She spent enormous amount of time on this island, and the result is absolutely gorgeous. And you have so many locations to hide your treasure that it's crazy. And also she also redraw the base game map. So the map from the original game has been redrawn by Misty B. So it's the same spots, same everything, but with our art. Mm-hmm. So the board is double-sided, and you can choose to either play on the former map with your new art and on the new map.
I can't wait to try out the different modes, because I find that like playing Long John is so much different than playing one of the pirates, and I hadn't thought of that problem, being the 1 in 5 times feeling wrong. But do you usually, with your games, do you take that mathematical approach, or do you just go by feel?
Good question. I would say that I mix both. I'm quite. I don't play test so much because I don't have so much time. So I am like Bruno Catala. I think there are 2 schools for board game designers. But you can either make a lot of prototypes, test a lot, and make many iterations. And I try to think of what I want to do and to imagine as much as possible what will be the result if I'm like create a game in my head.
Mm-hmm.
So this is for the feeling part, and then from this I can extract let's say a mathematical approach or a mathematical way to do best, and then maybe I will make a few statistics and so on. So I'm not only one. I would say that I mix both styles.
Yeah, and for those statistics, do you just keep some kind of journal or when you're playtesting?
Yeah, I have here. I have my board game, my board game design like book where I made notes and drawings, and I don't want to forget anything about I made. So just I started. I didn't wrote the. There is not even Yamatai in this. Yamatai was on free sheets, and so I started for Treasure Island with this one. And I don't have the first. It started in 2000, beginning 2016, but so yes, and I just finished it. So I have not so much ideas. 4 years to a small book like this. I just started a new one.
Mm.
Yes, I like to work with these paper books because you can leave them next to your bed when you have sometimes on Treasure Island. Sometimes I was waking up during the night and writing something, and then if you don't in the morning you forgot, but if you have your little book, that's fine. Or when I travel even for if I travel for how can I say, for holidays or even some business trips, sometimes I have in my trolley I have this, and when as soon as an idea comes up I can write down. It could come at night while you're running or making sports, under shower. That's the main. And also something which is really strange for me is that most of the time I had good ideas when I'm really very tired.
Mm-hmm.
If I am really very, very tired, then I will have ideas, they comes, you don't know from where, just they pop up. If I'm not tired, it will be less, it will be, I will have less spontaneous ideas.
Yeah,
Don't know why.
I think a big part of it is just knowing how to capture those ideas. And I've talked to Sam McDonald, who's one of the designers for Architects of the West Kingdom and the whole West Kingdom trilogy. He said,
excellent game.
Yeah, they're great, aren't they?
Yeah.
He said the exact same thing. He said it's always either when he's walking around or when he's like before bed.
I want to mention that I really like architects because the interaction is direct, but is really, really clever and well balanced, because it's a direct interaction, but yeah, that's the kind of game I like. That's, I would say that's my number one criteria for the game I like, not for the game I design, because I'm not pretending that I managed to do this. But I like games where there is direct interaction and where the benefit to loss ratio in a direct interaction is naturally balanced. Yeah. And that's the case in Architect of West Kingdom. And if you like this, I say that again, you have a look to Ansa Teutonica, which is also another example of a Euro game where the direct interaction is perfectly balanced. Balanced.
Yeah, I've heard a lot about the game, but I've never played it. Well, what I really like about Architects is the way that, and that's what I talked to him a lot about, is the way that it would be completely broken if other people couldn't take away your workers. And the whole mechanic of every time you put one more, the action gets stronger and stronger. I just think that's...
Yeah. So you want to do this, but then someone would take benefit of it, and that's very clever.
Yeah.
Very simple.
It's also his first design, which is just
impressive.
Very
impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where do you usually find inspiration for games? Like we talked about getting ideas, but usually for theme as well as like just what kind of game you want to make. Is it through other games or through different mediums?
I would I would say anything. Other games is a really good medium, of course, but also reading books. Sometimes uh, it gave me the will to make a game about a book. Um, when we chose Treasure Island theme, I've been reading again the book, and some of the design elements come from the book. And also, I will give you another scoop. There is I've spoken about two new projects. I've spoken about next year's uh, advertisement again. Next year, Snacked Bamboo, and there is also this Tetra, which we are very happy with, and hope we will find a publisher if publisher are listening and are looking for an abstract game. Please contact us. And there is another game which will be by Matago, not this year, but maybe next year or the year after, and which will be based on Peter Pan book. So yes, a book could be a good, a really good, how can I say, a medium for a new design.
What do you look for in play testers or when you're doing those, when you're testing out the game?
Very often with my family, because as I mentioned, I don't have so much time to play and to play test. So my brother tested a lot of my games, my sister a little bit also, my cousins also. So family, and also there is the board game group in Annecy next to my in my city. When they don't saw me during 1 year, and at some point I will come 5 times in 1 month, because I have a design which is evolving a lot, and I need to check many things. So they won't see me for a while, and then I come back, and I'm here every week with a new improvement, and then poof, gone again.
Yeah, it's very interesting to talk to you about like the way that you're balancing your work life with you're keeping game design as a hobby from what I hear, and you're keeping your love of it very alive. I feel the way that you're doing it. Have you thought about doing it full time or making it a job?
Yeah. Yeah, but of course, I asked myself this question, but the answer was very clear from the beginning. For me, it's it's really a passion or a hobby. I don't want to have obligations with game design, because I think it won't be. I would not have the same relationship with this activity if it would not be a hobby. And I would be afraid not to be able to, to say no, or to say that the design is not finished, or to. During quarantine, I had a lot of time for me, so I could have made tons of game design, because usually I have no time to do this, and I had plenty of time, but I didn't have motivation, I didn't have ideas, and maybe also because it was special time, but I would say that it confirmed that I'm not able to make this a full-time job, because I'm just not, and also because, as I mentioned, I sort a lot the concepts, and it's hard to find new concepts, and I don't want to work on a game which is not bringing something new. So I think you cannot work on a everyday basis if you're having so high expectations with your base concepts.
And what about the job that you're doing right now? Do you find that it's
So
yeah? Tell me about it because I actually don't know exactly what it is.
So I'm a mechanical engineer, and I work in a company for mainly our customers are automotive industry. And my job is that I try to find solutions for CO2 problem. So as a company, we've built components for automotive, and from our components, a little share of CO2 emissions are coming in the overall car CO2 emissions. And so my work is to push new projects, push new calculation method, push new tests, try to work with other companies to find solutions for, in the end, automotive CO2 reduction, lower CO2 emissions from automotives.
Mm-hmm.
So also it's a job. I like it because it makes sense. I think, even if it's really very small improvements, and we need today Earth is in poor condition, and we need to find big solutions, and I think we are not working on the good scale today. Automotive should decrease by 2 or 3% a year. We need 15% a year, but even 2 or 3% a year, we don't manage because it's too complicated and too hard and too expensive for everybody. So it's a little bit. I'm not like many people, but I think we are not we are not doing things in a proper way since a while, and we are not changing things fast enough at the moment. So that's quite worrying.
Yeah.
But that's not the point. Sorry,
It's not, but you're right. You're completely right.
That's a little sad, but yes. Also, game design and board games is a way to forget for a little time about all these problems that are in our modern life, modern Earth.
Yeah. And to finish up the podcast, I usually ask this question, and it's what advice would you give to somebody who is where you were when you saw your friend who was working really hard on game design? So somebody who just wants to start.
If you want to start, do it. It's really easy. You need a piece of paper and a pen, and you can start designing a game. So do it now. Just start now. That's the way you will finish with a game. And it's really the how can I say, the effort to proudness ratio is really good, because even if your game is not published, in the end you will end with a game. It will maybe not work so good, or I don't know, maybe you will make a good game but not find a publisher, but you will end with a game, because as soon as you've made it, it's a game, and you can be proud of it. And it's yes, it's not so complicated. It's just a bit of motivation, a pen and a paper, and let's go.
All right. Well, thank you so much for talking to me. It's awesome to talk to you.
Thank you very much. That was nice to talk with you too.